really sad. Oops.
What up, y'all? Welcome to Connected. I'm your host, DJ Iz. Today we are on show 43. I'm here with my lovely co-pilot. What's up, Chloe?
Hey, driving this plane. Happy Monday, y'all.
Happy Monday. Happy holidays. Like, you know, hey, Chloe, I got Christmas music like all throughout the house.
24/7.
Every day. Every day, all day.
You're just piping in from all the places.
Just everywhere. Every room's got Christmas going. And it was funny because, like, I remember the day after Thanksgiving, like, I saw folks, like, you know, like, messaging, like, don't, you know, Christmas music already. I'm like, hell yeah. You know, I'm all about the Christmas spirit.
All about that holiday.
What's going on,
oh
Chloe?
my gosh.
How
Everything. Our chat's blowing up.
Word?
Morning, guys.
I can't see my chat. Hey, Connected team, come on, get my chat up. I want to see who's joining us today.
Look, I'll shout them out. We got DeMarcus is here. Mason is here. Jason's here. Darren's here. Sean, Andre, Chapman, Esther, all of these. Hello, good morning. Happy Monday. Patrick, Corey, Manolo is an OG too, right?
Yo,
morning.
Hey, Chloe, let's see where some of these folks are from. Like, if you guys can, you know, text in the chat room where you're from so we know where you're at. As you know, we got jobs from LA all the way to New York. So, you know, if there's things we can pinpoint you to, that'd be awesome. So, but man, I'm happy to see folks are here with us on this Monday morning. And you know, we got a great hashtag, Chloe, which is this is your classroom. So we want to make sure folks, you know, definitely hashtag that. And I think for me, Chloe, like, you know, just looking at how traditionally one would gain experience, it would either be through like a traditional platform, whether it's school or stuff in that fashion. And one of the things I always like to encourage about what we do at the Recording, Film, and Radio Connection is that our classrooms are the actual working environments. You know, like if you're in the film, most likely you're going to learn everything you need to know on a film set. If you're an engineer, if you're into recording, you're going to learn in the studio. If you're in the culinary, you're going to learn in the kitchen. And so that's the kind of, you know, experience I want to make it, a point for folks to understand that are just now tuning in. Now, if you've been rocking with us since episode 1, man, you already know I'm preaching to the choir. But anyway, for those of you who are on the go, make sure you catch us on our Google Play and our podcast on iTunes. Because I know everybody can't get in front of their computer.
Which is cool.
And also, too, Chloe, let them know where they can track our day-to-day on our social media.
Oh, for sure. Guys, you want to find us on social media, we're across the web at Is Connected. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Is Connected. And, of course, you want to watch us on the official Powered by Recording Connection version. Because that's where we get some fun interactive opportunities, like our survey. Maybe you missed it last week, but this week's survey, we still want to know, are you looking for, or what kind of work are you looking for? Full-time, part-time, random gigs, or to start yourself off with your own business as an entrepreneur? Because, you know, when collecting data, you gotta, you know, I sound super smart.
Sneak it in there, girl. Sneak it in there.
Controls and variables. We want to make sure that all is on board as we collect our data. Can I show you my tree?
Show me a tree. We encourage holiday spirit. Ooh, that's awesome, Charlie Brown. Yeah. See, now you make me want to run downstairs and grab me some Christmas paraphernalia.
That sounds so suspect.
I know, like white snow. And I know. And also, too, for those who want to just kind of check out everything we got going on, another great spot you can catch all of our jobs is this is where it's at, rrfedu.com/connected. If you want to email us, Chloe, let's let them know where they can email us if they want to send us music, resumes, cover letters, the whole nine.
Yes. You can email us directly, connected@rrfedu.com. Thank you to everybody that's sending submissions. Shout out to DeMarcus, to Desiree, to Mason, to Tommy Hendricks, to Claude, to Doc Clark, to Corey Jackson, Katz, Bailey, Hickson. Like, guys, thank you. Your stuff is good. Your stuff is real good.
Right. And don't forget our newsletter, folks. And also, too, you know, I think it's always great to see folks, you know, joining us at any given Monday, right? But, you know, for a lot of these industries, especially in December during the holidays, everything begins to shut down and folks are kind of like on peace out. I know I was on peace out a couple of days ago because I was in the mountains with my family just trying to enjoy some holiday time. But, you know, it says a lot for folks that continue to join us every Monday and make it a point to be on the grind. You know, we always like to hashtag Monday movement because that's something we're constantly doing, even outside of a Monday. You know, for us, it's Monday through Sunday.
Movement, Wednesday movement.
Yeah, you know, so it's great to see you guys here, and I'm happy and I'm thankful that you guys are continuing to join us and make it a point to be here every Monday. That says a lot about you guys.
And if it's your first time here, can you throw one up into your chat? If this is your very first time joining us on Is Connected, welcome, welcome, and welcome. Throw one up there.
Yeah. So, you know, it's great to see because a lot of folks are actually mentioning where they're actually tuning in from. So we'll be able
from Chicago.
Chicago. There's a couple of them, and we'll be able to, you know, point a couple of those areas out when we get into our Q&A. So now's a great time, folks, to kind of like get your Q&A, you know, your questions together for our Q&A. That's, to me, that's my favorite part of the show, Chloe. I love the jobs. I love being able to bring folks jobs, but for me, where the real connection for me is, you know, just being able to chat with you guys. So yeah, that's always fun. So Chloe, guess what?
Guess what? What or what?
Girl, we're about to jump.
Give it to me again. I messed up my line. Go. Say it
Girl,
again.
Chloe, guess what?
What?
We're about to jump into these grind ops, girl.
Oh.
Yeah. So go on and give them the rundown.
So what do they need to grab? Your
Twitter fingers.
That's a pen, by the way. Yes. Yeah.
You know, and that could be iPad or whatever it is you use to take down notes, because we like to give out a whole lot of information that pertains to each particular grind up. And I think
you can only get it here.
You can only get it here. You know, some of these, I get questions all the time, but yeah, you know, how many people are actually getting at these jobs, you know, because are they made available to everybody? I said, yeah, everybody that's on my show. So that makes it, you know, I think too, in a world where, you know, there's a lot of folks out there who are looking to get work and who are trying to get work. So I think being able to offer this platform for you guys is a real great opportunity, because you're not going to be dealing with the world. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with the folks are basically here on our chat, you know, so that makes the possibilities a lot more within reach. So without any further ado, I'm going to get into this grind up. This is one of the day. This is in the field of recording. This is sound engineer. This is a kids theme park that's seeking a sound engineer for special events. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. I told you we were everywhere, folks. This ain't just LA or New York. So again, this is in Louisville, Kentucky. He or she will be in charge of any sound-related requests made by clients. Equipment used includes, here we go, this is where it gets technical. Here's the equipment list. Allen and Heath GLD80 with a tri-amplified configuration and 4 wedges. 4 wedges meaning stage monitors. He or she will be going through a trial period of 90 days. You know what's great about trial periods, especially at 90 days? You're still getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get, even if you fail and you don't make it past the 90 days, well, at least you were compensated for your time.
It's true. And you learn listen, there's always an opportunity for growth. If you don't make it past the 90 days, that's the perfect opportunity to check in and be like, oh, where could I have overperformed? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps.
So, you know, for those of you who are into doing live sound, this is one of those things. It doesn't really specify, but in some of these situations, Chloe, it can either be an outdoor event or a venue or an in-house venue. And a lot of times the difference between doing in-house sound and out-house sound are completely different, because
I'm sure
the techniques are different. Because when you got an open venue, sound is going everywhere. Sound, people in the back might hear the sound later than the folks in the front. So knowing all those different dynamics is really crucial. And I think, I know we got a lot of front in-house sound guys that have come out of the recording connection. But again, this is another great opportunity for those who do have experience. And I think, anybody who's well equipped in this road should definitely partake of this opportunity, because I can almost guarantee you'll make it past the 90 days. And you'll get a locked in gig.
I will say though about this particular grind op is it's pretty vague.
Right.
Except for the equipment part of it, which is that's probably a great place to not be vague.
Right.
But everything else is way open ended. So other than the fact that there's a 90-day trial period and you're in charge of any sound related, anything the client is asking you for, you do that.
Right.
That could be a lot or little. You never know.
Yeah, I totally agree too. And I think most folks in this arena who are in the front end house and sound and staging, a lot of them know their gear. And I always like to stress to folks that it's so important for you to know an array of equipment, an array of gear, know the ins and outs, know that if something fails, know how to maybe a cheat sheet on how to get it up and going again, whether it's a blown fuse. But those are definitely the techniques you want to be well equipped with. And I think the most important thing in this job is the gear, knowing how to work with it so that you can get in there and fly. I know for me, just being around front end house and sound engineering, I've been with guys who have gotten a different console for the venue. They've never worked on this console and they got to learn it within an hour, get it up and running, get sound going. So, also too, and it usually says this in some of our grind ops, but to be able to operate under pressure. Under pressure and to be fast. So that's something, for you guys to think about. Again, this is in Louisville, Kentucky, and sound engineer for a kid's theme park. And it just sounds fun. Like to be doing sound at a theme park, man, you might catch me on like not even really doing a whole lot of work, but on the rides.
Wait, where's Iz? Oh, he's on the pirate ship.
Yeah.
I love that pirate ship.
So cool. Chloe, this is in the field of film, which is definitely your field. So I'm going to let you go on and take this one down. This is grind op number 2.
Okay. So grind op number 2, production assistant. AMS Pictures original programming team is looking for a qualified, assertive, energetic production assistant. And this is coming to you from Dallas, Texas. Person must have a strong work ethic, critical thinking skills, and positive attitude. Candidate must have strong organizational, time management skills, and have excellent communication skills. Must have advanced knowledge of all Microsoft Office programs, and knowledge of licensing and copywriting rules is a major plus. Boom. And again, this is out of Dallas, Texas.
Right.
I love that they ask for somebody that is assertive, energetic, and with positive attitude.
Right. So you know what I was thinking, Chloe, just hearing you like read off the details of this, because you're in this road every day. Like, what would be your dream assistant?
What would they be like?
Yeah, like what would you?
Oh man,
what kind of qualities would you like to see? If I was like, yo, Chloe, check out my resume, check out my cover letter, check out, what would you be looking for in me to best facilitate what you do?
In addition to, organization for sure, right? But in addition to that, I'd be looking for somebody that was a listener and had the ability to not just listen for the breaks, but to listen and absorb the information, right? So that when, and somebody that I spoke a common language with, so that I don't have to necessarily always say, this might sound crazy, but that I don't have to always, somebody that's a step ahead. That's the best way I'm trying to say it. That can watch, that can listen, observe a situation, and be a step ahead of the game.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I think that's a great point. Now, what kind of curveballs could I expect being in this role?
Oh gosh. Well, weather is one thing, depending on where you're shooting, and that can put a whole, it sounds again crazy, but what weather can do to a production or to a person is crazy. So if you are, say now all of a sudden we're getting rained out, we got to get this one shot. So now we're in the trailer for 4 hours and I still have other life stuff to do, right? Mm-hmm. Or now, because if you're working with talent, you're getting rained out. So there's a whole it changes the look of the person in and of itself. So now you as the production assistant have to maintain the continuity of the look of the person while also keeping the talent happy. This is not me, but talent gets touchy. But if it was my assistant, I'd want somebody that's able to hear what my needs are without me necessarily being able having to communicate everything and being like, great, this is what she's gonna need. Great. Let me get you some tea and let me get you some this. You know what I'm saying? Right.
So understand the environment, be able to get to it and get effective without you even having to say, hey, I need you to. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like, obviously a person who can multitask.
Yes.
Obviously a person who can understand the environment in the room, process it, and instantly
can read a room.
Can read a room. And I think, I think those fundamentals pretty much apply to almost every aspect of these different industries that we talk about, because it is so important to be able to read a room. And I've even in the studio, I've been in rooms where, folks who are extremely green, who are, just happy to be in the environment, they don't know how to read a room and they're instantly
get to all the talking or want to talk, just all the talking. Sometimes the strongest thing that you can do is shut up and listen.
Right.
Just take it all in and be the sponge. You said that. Be the sponge. Be the sponge.
Yeah. And to me, it's important to have, when I think of an assistant, I think of somebody who helps assist, right? And really to me, that speaks of a character who's knows how to be a servant, knows how to just, really just make sure everybody is cool, things are on time, the tasks are being executed, all those things, and they all have to happen simultaneously, right?
And it's not also not with this attitude. Hey, can you do such and such?
Right.
Or not. I can do it myself. I mean, but yeah, it's like you gotta be excited to want to do those kind of things, that might be a bummer to other folks, but you get it, and it's just you're happy because it's a part of the job. You're assisting, you're a servant, you're helping, you are the help, So those are key components for folks to keep in mind. But and with jobs like that, looking at it in a global perspective, right? Yeah. To be a personal assistant, learning the tools and tricks in the trade to get to what is it that you really want to do. Great. So what can you learn in this job that's going to help you get there?
Right. So, I would say for those of you who are looking to fulfill a position in, being an assistant or assisting, I would like, for those folks, to definitely take a look at AMS pictures, just to kind of see, what they're about and who they are. They're a programming team, and they're in Dallas, Texas. But that can, again, be a great opportunity for those of you who have those characteristics, who love to be in that kind of field and who can definitely assist. So again, that's in the field of film in Dallas, Texas. Before I go any further, Chloe, I want to let our viewers know what we got going on for top of the year. We got a lot of exciting new things. You're going to definitely see some different environments, different quality of picture and how we do it here. And I'm excited about it because, it's going to be fresh and new. So definitely, guys, want to keep you guys up to speed on that. And we're looking roughly around, January 9th on up, where you'll definitely see some really cool changes. And definitely how we...
up to the east side.
What's that?
We'll be moving on up to the east side.
To the east. So, yeah, so stay tuned for that. And we're talking guests. We're talking a lot of the artists that I've worked with. I know a lot of folks, you know, who are on the musical side and DJ side. They were like, "Yo, man, I want to see Iz on the decks and the turntable." So with our new show, Location, we'll be showcasing a lot of those things. And, you know, I might even get Chloe to open us up with, you know, some beautiful vocals and just having fun. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, folks, that'll be happening roughly around January 9th and after. So there's going to be a lot of cool things going on here. Without any further ado, we're going to move into grind out number 3. Again, grind out number 3 is in the field of film. This is a video script writer. And I think I saw somebody in our chat who either has some scripts or I'm not sure, but I know Katz is here with us today. So Kat, this can be cool for you.
I know somebody is here. If I read it correctly, Stanislaw, I think you might be talking about Stanislaw, who I believe he said is watching from Cameroon.
Wow.
Is this true, is this true, Stanislaw? Are you really watching us from Cameroon? That makes me so happy. For those of you just joining us, we got a survey going. Right-hand side of your screen. What kind of job are you looking for? Full-time, part-time, gigging it, or opening up your own business?
Yes. So here we go. This is in the field of film. Video script writer. Production company seeks video copywriters to work in the St. Joseph office under the direction of the creative director and video copywriters. This is in St. Joseph, Michigan, I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
St. Joseph.
Here we go. Candidate joining a passionate and highly talented group of writers, designers, photographers. He or she will be developing strategies under the supervision of creative directors and account directors. Benefits include, okay, let's highlight these guys. Benefits include 401k, paid vacations, health insurance, and company paid life insurance. Okay, I'm going to repeat that for you guys. Benefits include 401k, paid vacations, health insurance, and company paid life insurance. Okay.
Wow.
This is a office that you'll be working under the direction of the creative director and video copywriters. Okay. So you'll be working with a couple of folks here. As these details mention, you know, a highly talented group of writers, designers, photographers, videographers, producers, editors, and account leads and clients. So that's a lot of folks. Now
that sounds like fun.
Right? So in your role, Chloe, like, what's it like to be around some of these folks? You know, whether it's a producer or an editor, you know, what's that? I know in that role, I mean, every personalities, I mean, you really never know what's walking through the door, but just based on, right? Now, in your experience, what's it like to, you know, have worked around some of these cats, and what are they like?
Well, I feel like some of the best ways to describe it all would be like a commercial set, kind of, because the commercial set, you got the client that's sitting behind the video village and all like that, and they're usually the ones that are like this, and occasionally they look at you and they'll start whispering, so they tend to be the serious ones. And then you got like the writers, or like the people that the writers, yeah, and they're the ones that are like taking it all in and great, making quick changes, and they tend to be more very heady, right? Very heady, very zingy, and every writer's is different. Every directors, and I use a commercial set because it's a very specific environment. The commercial directors that I've worked with tend to be very calm, because you're translating so much information at one time, right? But the videographers, the producers, all of that sort of stuff, you don't really see them so much. The account leads and clients and account leads you see every once in a while, and they tend to be a little bit more serious, they're the money.
Right.
And keeping the money happy. And everybody else in there creative and very, whatever side of the brain tends to bounce and zang off of that.
Okay. Now, it says account leads and clients. Can you kind of break that down for us? It's
the money and the people at the charge, top of that food chain. People signing the checks they're the ones that want their T's crossed and their I's dotted correctly.
Now, just based off of your experience, Chloe, like, you know, when it mentions the benefits here, like the 401k, paid vacations. Is this something you see often in your world?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like in my world with the union, with like SAG and stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
have a pension and all like that, what have you, but you're not salaried. If you're on contract, that's one thing, but that's not like 401k. The SAG part of it is,
right.
But you're not a salaried employee per se. It's a little bit different.
Okay.
You know?
So this is definitely a plus attached to this particular grind up.
To any job, yes.
Right.
This is a grown up. This is adulting 101. This job.
Right.
No Peter Pan's here.
Okay. Well, again, folks, this is in St. Joseph, Michigan. And, you know, Chloe, we've had a couple of grind ops in the past where, you know, they specifically ask that you be local. And a lot of these grind ops we've been getting, they're not really asking or specifying for you to be local. So, you know, these can be those situations where you send out a resume, maybe, you know, get that out to them. They're interested. You fly out, see what it is, check it out. Because if it makes sense, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
And nowadays, people also are doing like interviews over Skype and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
You know, exactly. When they really like people.
Yeah. And, you know, I know for me, when there was ever opportunity, I don't care if it was in Chicago, Philly, I got on a plane and I, you know, that's part of the hunt. That's part of the grind. You know, when opportunities come, it ain't always going to be in your backyard, although you love for it to be. But sometimes, you know, that's just how that's how destiny is, you know, but it opens other doorways, other portals to other opportunities. So, you know, I know some folks, well, you know, here might be, oh, well, man, that's, you know, I don't even live out there. But, you know, some of these opportunities are worth taking, you know, the chance and what they're about. Because you might very much see yourself, you know, somewhere in Chicago, you know, and you were originally based out of LA, but this job was great. You're growing, you know, new opportunities are coming your way. And you can't ever be afraid to think like that. You can't ever be afraid to go out there and chase it and just make it happen. So like I say, you know, if these jobs aren't in your city, but they sound very interesting and you're very curious about them and you want to see what it's about to the fullest. You know, don't ever shortchange yourself here. All right.
Right. I have a friend that says a chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Oh, there you go. It ain't no thing but a what? A chicken wing.
Right. Chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Here we go. Grind out 4. This is in the field of recording. This is a sound designer. Gaming entertainment company seeks sound designer to craft high quality audio content for first party product development projects. This is in San Mateo, California. For all my Cali folks, I think we had somebody pop up that was like, yo, I'm in Cali. So here we go. The successful candidate will have a creative vision, excellent communication, and organizational skills. Implementation of sound design using middleware and scripting tools to bring the soundscape to life is necessary. Candidate must be familiar with professional audio production techniques and editing tools such as Pro Tools, SoundForge, Bias, Peak, Waves plugins, and sequencers. I'm gonna actually let me go over that for you guys. So, professional audio production techniques and editing tools such as Pro Tools, SoundForge, Bias, Peak, Waves, plugins, and sequencers. Ability to work under pressure and tight deadlines while maintaining professional respect and courtesy to our dev teams and team members. Okay, again, this is a gaming entertainment company, and they're looking for high quality audio content for first.
We are seeing more and more jobs in gaming. It's crazy.
Right? Yeah. And you know, I think you know this is more or less a creative kind of grind up. So you definitely want to have experience in the various areas that I just covered, such as Pro Tools and SoundForge. And I would say, you know, if you're thinking about submitting your resume or cover letter to this particular grind up, you definitely want to showcase some experience. And because these kind of gigs, Chloe, they get really technical, you know, because you're not only creating or sound designing or coming up with sounds, but you got to be well-rounded in information in regards to these different software programs.
Right.
and be up to speed on that stuff, because these kind of things get really, really technical. You know, people think, you know, as a sound designer, you're just coming up with weird sounds or whatever, but it's actually an art, and there's a science to it. And it's you know, because you got to be able to sometimes look at content and then visualize certain things based on what you're looking at. And that gets real, like, you know, you don't want to have a gunshot, you know, sound effect in a, you know, in a romantic moment or something. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to read, you know, certain things.
It's like the boom dropping in.
Yeah. And, you know, even for me, like, because I buy a lot of soundtracks, like, you know, Hans Zimmerman and all these cats who do strings and huge production. And I'm a student of that stuff. So I know for me, like, when movies come to us and they want us to do some scoring or whatever, like, just based off of all the information I have and the movies I've watched and my favorite, like, conductors and stuff, like, I have a library of shit that I can reach for, you know, as I'm going, like, oh, okay, I know what I can do here. You know what I'm saying? So what were you gonna say?
Now, do you ever get to, when you're doing things like that, are you watching you are watching the footage and you're putting things to that? Right.
Yeah. So, like, you know, we'll get in films that, you know, still got the green screen, you know, got the numbers running, got temp music. And, you know, the job is, like, when I get a film that has temp music, the temp music is to let me know what they're going for.
Yes.
So to create something kind of in that vein, and, you know, and that's kind of like, you know, that's kind of the process for me. You know, I've gotten a lot of movies that, you know, maybe are at the second round of having all the effects in, you know, but there's still a couple things missing. And it's really just, you go in there and you look and you kind of get an idea of what they want in these particular scenes, and you just go and you create. And that could be sound effects, that can be, you know, a wind sound, that can be, you know, just a violin or orchestra, you know. So but it's really fun. It's really cool, you know.
And how often is it that you do that versus somebody's like, I'm looking for a track, feels like this, using it for this purpose, where you don't get to watch anything, it's just all you?
It happens, I would say, anywhere from 3 to 4 times out of the year, you know. And then, you know, it'll go from that, and then, oh, by the way, we need music, we need some songs for the soundtracks, and, you know, do you have any artists in mind, or do you have any back catalog that you can maybe just let us hear? So, you know, it happens often, but I think, you know, knowing both sides has always been extremely beneficial in regards to,
because it can go either way for you, is what it sounds like. It's like you see it or you won't.
Yeah, and you meet people, you know. What I've realized is a lot of these teams that put these kind of things together for films, there's so many people, you know, and you just get to meet people, and it's like, oh, you know what, I know a project. Let me get you this project, because we pretty much need the same thing. So a lot of that happens, you know. It's like a window of just opportunity, you know. So that's always a plus. So
getting in on the ground floor.
Yeah. So again, this is Sound Designer, and location is San Mateo, California. So, Chloe, I'm going to let you take down this last grind up of the day, which is in the field of radio.
Love it. Grind up number 5 is for an assistant producer. Award-winning executive producer needs assistant producer to support productions for broadcast, web, and social media. Web experience preferred. This is out of Norfolk, Virginia. Shout out VA and the Delmarva. So the candidate will be responsible for researching and finding necessary music, sound effects, and archival tape for the works in progress. Basic audio production, preferably Pro Tools preferred. Deadline-oriented, comfortable with organizational tasks. Ideal opportunity for radio graduate or audio that is comfortable with working in a fast-paced environment under strict deadlines. This is perfect for a recording connection, all folk. Like, perfect. Ideal opportunity for radio graduate or audio that is comfortable with working in fast-paced environment. This is pretty straightforward, this one.
Yeah, and like you said, Chloe, I think this is definitely perfect for our connected students. And I think too, you know, these kind of, because this is pretty much a straightforward kind of, you know, outline of details for this grind up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for folks who are joining us or better yet, have an understanding of what it is we do on the educational side, which is put you in an environment that does not resemble a classroom. It resembles the real field. Being in these environments, such as fast-paced environments, intense environments, deadline-driven, all those dynamics that you really don't learn in the classroom until you actually get in front of it. And a lot of times by that time, it's too late, because you're so, you're so to the script that anything that comes outside of a script, you're like, what do you mean I got to have this turned in an hour, or I got to, and those kind of things you don't want to learn on the job. Like,
no.
Because that could be the difference of you having a job and coming in tomorrow and you don't have one. So those are definitely some of the things to keep in mind. And I always like to stress what we do at Connected is so unique, because you're not just sitting in the classroom learning out of a book. You might be sitting next to an incredible, successful film, productive script writer, incredible producer, a credible engineer, an incredible chef. And those are the things you want to keep in mind, because that's where the tires meet the road. That's where the education is really, really taken in, processed, and understood. So,
and also that our new hashtag, "This is my classroom," that is the perfect explanation of that. Everybody's classroom looks different. Where is it that you are learning the lessons that are making you the most successful version of yourself that you can be?
Right.
Right. Yeah. On that note, we do have our survey results, by the by.
Oh, well, we got one.
We do. So it looks like 70% people looking for full-time work. 23% are looking to start their own business and to become entrepreneurs. 3% are random gigs, and 3% part-time. Last week it was 0% part-time, so part-time is up.
Oh, interesting. And you know what I love about the entrepreneurship dynamic is that we actually have a really good entrepreneurship program that we can get you guys dialed in with. So if there's anybody interested in, the whole start your own business, how do I get that going? How do I take an idea, bring it to life? How do I get from point A to point Z? Because there's a whole lot of in between. Definitely reach out to us here at Connected. I know my team is extremely quick on getting things going and being able to look at your specific need and getting you some assistance. But we do have our hands on a really great entrepreneurship program that just pretty much is the fundamentals of business. I think where industries are going today, Chloe, I think the great thing is the model has changed, but this new model will work across the board. And it's really being able to understand how all these different components work together, how to best utilize yourself, how to look at yourself as a walking brand, as a walking, commodity, whether you're offering a service of a script, a song, engineering. I mean, that's what it is. You are the business. You're a walking business. And you just have to understand the fundamentals of business. And that's
and know how to package yourself.
And know how to package yourself and how to know all the components, how to look at an agreement or offering or a proposal. Get it as close as what you want it to be, and know when to hand it off to an attorney. And understanding that attorney works for you, you don't work for him. All those different dynamics, and it's a great way to understand just business. So definitely keep that in mind. Let us know if you have an appetite for that, and we can make some things happen. So that is our 5th grind up of the day, and again, that was in Norfolk, VA. So what do we got next, Chloe? Let's see here.
We got some Q&A.
Q&A. We do got some Q&A. However,
but before that, sorry.
We have keep and remember this, because this is something we started a couple shows back. But we do have an additional 5 other grind ops on our site, so that's a total of 10. So make sure you do at some point look at what those other jobs are. I believe they're in the field of
everything. There's a film job in Vegas. There's culinary in Atlanta and Portland. Right? Yep. Auto jobs in Kansas City and a radio job in Seattle.
Yeah. So that's 5 additional jobs on our Connected site. So make it a point to check what those are too. So right now, I've been doing these videos, Chloe, of just we call them School of Hard Knocks, but, just some real personal type, questions that I was asked. And, it's always a good thing to kind of just speak, outside of the cuff and off the cuff. I feel like for our viewers, that's where you get just, you get the most, intimate type of real answer, and it's not driven by no rehearse, and this definitely ain't rehearsed, but I think it's just, it's good information for folks that want to know what it's like on that day to day. And, this is really about what feels good usually wins, even though it goes against what you've learned in school. So that is kind of the gist of what this is. So I'm going to cut to that clip. We'll go ahead and roll, man.
So in a way, it sounds like what you're saying is that to go there could actually hurt you.
Yeah, because it's like some people don't know how to get out of that gear. For instance, perfect scenario. I was in a session one time with a producer who has, a star in Hollywood. And because the engineer came from that traditional way of working and applying his knowledge, because he came from an institution, we're then working on this song, and the engineer decides to say, that bass note that's not the right key. It needs to be something else. No, it feels good. So, no, but that's not the, and so he began to challenge the producer. And at the end of the day, I don't care how much information and knowledge you got from an educational aspect in the creative world. What feels good, and usually what feels good wins. And it's it's very hard to detach yourself from those things because it's been chiseled in you. And those are the kind of hiccups you run into with a person that brings that traditional, educational experience in creativity to the table. When I bring on people, I've had to tell them, okay, let me get a feel for your background. What have you done? You're not validated by the college you came from. You're validated by the records you've been on, the work you've done, the sessions you've recorded, the drums you've mic'd. That's what validates you.
So was that engineer not
told him to go home? The producer said, your day is done. And it's interesting, even not even so much a respect level, but it's like in those environments, see, school couldn't teach you that, right? School isn't going to teach you when to keep your mouth shut. But guess what? A producer who's probably had about over 100 #1 hits is going to say, okay, your day's over. You can go home.
Hey, yo, hey, Chloe, that's real shit. That's real shit.
Your day is done here. You can go home.
Done. And and it ain't even about, being around folks that are high and mighty and are assholes. Like, I've been around good folks who are just on the ground level, and who are cool, and treat people great. And, so imagine being around assholes in the business, assholes in the game. Imagine what their theory's like when you don't have any, supreme kind of track record and you're offering opinions and that's what I'm saying. Like a sponge doesn't talk. A sponge absorbs. And that's where, when you're starting on ground zero, you want to absorb everything you possibly can so that when you do get the moment, you have all the information. You know what to do. You know how to navigate. You know how to execute. You know how to deliver. And I think that's the difference. I think with this upcoming generation, they think talent is everything. They think, nah, man, I got it cracking. I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, yeah, but you ain't paying no dues. You're a songwriter. What songs have you written? Has anybody bought your song? Oh, you got a script? You got an idea. Everybody's got an idea. It's how do you bring things to life? How do you assemble the team? How do you put folks together to get to that end of the race? And it's more than just having an opinion. It's more than just, but, well, my idea, like, everybody's got those, and there's people who are really great at taking an idea and and the road buys into it. And that's the difference, you know. And I think with that particular situation with that engineer, he just couldn't let it go. And he didn't know, not even just on the respect or just, you know, the boundaries. It's like, man, you gotta get to the point where you can actually say, yeah, but that note ain't right. That, like, it's like, man, who are you? You know, and you know, you don't ever want to be hit with the, hey man, your job's done for the day. Because he will never get used in a session again by that producer. So, you know, those are the mistakes you don't want to make. And the classroom, like I said, doesn't teach you that.
No, it does not.
So, you know, so that's something for you guys to keep in mind. And like I said, man, we keeps it 100 here on Connected. I'm gonna let you know, like the things you want to look up for. Like I look at it like this, Chloe. If you got a booger in your nose and I don't tell you,
you are got a friend of you.
I'm not your friend. So, you know, just some of the things to think about. That's why we call it the School of Hard Knocks. That's another video from the Vote. School of Hard Knocks. So
and life boogers. You gotta
life boogers. I like that. Life boogers. Your friends should never. Life boogers.
Christmas tree.
So now for my favorite part of the show, we can actually get into some of this Q&A. But actually, before we get into our Q&A, I want to let some of our folks know that have actually submitted music
yes,
we've actually listened to. So I want to shout out DeMarcus, Desiree, Mason. I just got done listening to Mason stuff. Tommy Hendricks. I really like Doc Clark. I don't know if he's tuning in today, but I love the remix, I believe it was, but I love the music and the vocal. We checked out a little bit of Bailey Hickson. I believe Bailey Hickson was a cat that didn't have no music, right? It was just a vocal.
He's in high school. Yeah.
So I think, you know, and this goes out to Bailey. I loved what you had, but I think the next step for you might be sitting down with a piano player or a guitar player. And the reason for that is so you can make sure whatever melodic notes you got going on, they fall within I'm not going to say a proper boundary, but you want to make sure these notes actually can
that they line up.
That they line up with the other notes in the key of the song that you're in. So that, I think that's important. But shout out to everyone else, Deanna, Linda, Tommy, anybody else I didn't mention. Believe us, you guys are on our radar and we're listening to these things
as we speak.
So keep sending in your resume and your cover letters. I actually had someone reach out to me during the week who sent me an incredible resume and cover letter. And I was actually blown away because I looked at it. And, you know, the first thing I look for is what we call smoke and mirrors, right? Some shit you really didn't do, or you know, it's like you were the bus boy and you kind of definitely were not.
Now you're the maitre d'.
So I got this resume and cover letter, man, and it was so well put together. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get this to my Connected team because I want them to look at it because it was really good, man. It was well written, you know, and I'll never forget, I interviewed a CEO last year at NAM by the name of Scott Goodman, who's the president of Zoom. And I said, in the interview, I said, man, what is it you look for when you're hiring somebody? And he said, you want to know what I look for? I want to see if the motherfucker can actually read and write right. That's what he said to me. And,
look,
right?
Text,
you know,
text
like,
speak.
Yeah, like the fundamentals and you know, so when I looked at the resume and the cover letter, man, it was so well put together. And I want to make it a point that we distribute this particular, you know, cover letter and resume to some of these grind outs because it was well orchestrated and it was really cool.
Here's also what I want to say on that point right quick before we really jump into this Q&A. To that point, there. Yours, it's. They are all different. And if you don't know the difference, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Continue.
You know what's crazy though? I think like a lot of folks don't like, even with you are like it. Yeah. So those are some of the things to definitely look at in your resume and your cover letter is, you know, how well you're spelling and you know, those
grammar.
Grammar is everything. So definitely keep that in mind, guys. So let's get to this Q&A, Chloe. What we got here?
I don't know, but I just got so warm getting upset about grammar. Texting, I love it, but it's going to kill us all. Text messaging. Oh, and autocorrect.
So hold on. So early on in the show, Mason he said, "I got to get hired for being the always." Well, again, here we go. Let's start with your grammar first, Mason. He says, "I got to get hired for being the always the first in here." Ha ha ha. So what you want to say is, "I got to get hired for always being the first in here."
To be fair, he corrected it. And a little bit later, he corrected it. It says, "Up being always."
Right.
Amazing. Dig it. So loving how you all are helping each other out. Stanislaw was asking if there were filmmakers in class, and Katz responded that he's a filmmaker because he is, and that right now Katz is in Memphis. So shout out to that connection. Shout out to everybody that it is your first time watching. Andre and Desiree, we had, Katz is editing feature film, and then Stanislaw also said that he'd love to work with Katz on this future stuff. Katz has also said he's doing a web series, so shout out to all that. I mean, look, Katz is gonna hire us all, which is fine.
That's a good point, Chloe. Mason had a couple questions. He said, for a new guy in the States who still doesn't know much, I'm in Columbus now and thinking of relocating to LA. Do you think that would be a good step for an audio dude? Is it way too saturated and competitive? I think I got a solid resume and expertise to work in most audio fields. I think, the thing with LA is one of these places where, you can get chewed up and spit out because there's so many cats out here that are incredible, especially in the recording side. But you know what, man? You want to be where the greats are. You want to be where the dudes are in these fields, because you'll be surprised how much information and how much you can actually extract by being around some of these opportunities. So, I think the biggest thing when you talk about relocating, I think the most important thing is to put a plan together, put a strategy together. Think about the cost of living, how you're going to make things happen. A lot of times people come to LA with no plan and no roadmap, and man,
I'm going to be a star.
They come home with the blues because LA is a tough spot. But I always say, if you can make it in LA or New York or even in Atlanta, man, you can make it anywhere, because this is out here in LA and Cali, this is where the tires meet the road. So you got to be on your shit. And to your, is it way saturated question? Absolutely. But you got to think, it's also a great driving force because there is so many out here. That's where the competitiveness kicks in. So it could be really great, man. Just what I would suggest is put a great plan together for yourself. Put it in and an out together. In, if it doesn't work, what's my out? What's my B plan? What's my strategy? How am I going to maneuver? Because you got to have endurance out here. LA will beat you down straight up. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Leah says, if you guys and gals want to talk about your futures, your options, reach out to us. There you go. Leah's in the house, and she is a representative of what we do here. So make sure you reach out to her if you got questions. She's making herself available. And, Chloe, shout out to our team, that, are constantly on the lookout, on the ground, just got their ears tuned. Because, that's really where it all connects, and having a point of contact. So we can definitely get you guys dialed in.
For we had a question that came in over the week also from Gary that says, what is the recording school about? Is it fundamentals? Hello?
Yep. I'm just
my
brain was going. The fundamentals are important because that's where the know-how is really started. You got to be able to understand the fundamentals and what they are, from presentation, which we like to equate to your resume, your cover letter, sizzle reel.
Yep. And
I think that's the problem nowadays is people, the younger culture haven't really been introduced to the fundamentals of what we had. And, the fundamentals are the things that, afford you longevity and the know-how. And it ain't just always about your talent and how great are you are with your gift. It's knowing all the other ancillary things that need to go on to make it a full experience, and how people, experience you. So those are some of the things to definitely keep in mind. I know we got another question here from DeMarcus, which was, I manage temple-based music studio in Hollywood. I produce for some of the artists that come through the studio, but I want a production deal or situation with the labels that book. Do you have any advice to go about making that happen? So that was one of the questions I actually personally shot back out to you, DeMarcus, if you're watching. So, if you want to continue that conversation, definitely shoot us an email. But I feel like the response I gave you was pretty thorough. And,
for Corey Jackson and Katz, you were asking for resume stuff, and Edwin will be reaching out to you if he has not already. We also had a question come in from Deanna that says, hey, I'm getting ready for college and don't know how to be a DJ, but I feel it in me and I know I got it. I really need help and a tutor. Okay, so that question was a little confusing to me, and I want to make sure I understand it right. She says, I'm getting ready to go to college, right? But I don't know how to be a DJ. So I don't know if you're going to college to take on a different career, or you're going to a music school, or being a DJ. So kind of confused there. But however, it looks like you're looking to be a DJ because either one, you really, really love music and you have a great library of music. But I don't know what's driving, what the driving force in you that makes you want to be a DJ. And for me, and not to discourage anybody, but I know for me, I don't, I didn't just roll out of bed and say I want to be a drummer. I saw something and I put in the work. And for me, when I look at this question, it really starts with what your commitment is to it. Because if you have a real commitment, you got to go out and buy gear. You got to go out and spend money. So that then becomes a personal investment into yourself. And, the difference between knowing you got it and being able to actually do it is so vast. And this isn't one of those things where you jump on YouTube and it's like, oh, step one, step two. Like, you got to really immerse yourself into it. Understand the culture, understand music, understand the different genres of music, the artists, the songwriters. Like, today's culture, everything is made available through technology. You can have an app and it's a DJ app and you just load in your iTunes playlist and play, pause, but you're not really, you're not really tempo matching records. You're not really understanding transitions. You probably can't scratch. You probably got terrible timing. So here's the other thing that I'm fascinated by the world of DJing too. Versus how DJing was and how it is now. And my mind gets so blown because I think of scratching, from back in the day. And nowadays I'm like, all this technology stuff and records is so expensive. And this is where my mind goes. Right.
Yeah. And, I think, being that I'm passionate about it, I'll DJ. Nobody has to pay me to DJ because I just love doing it. I'm a DJ regardless. But, the thing is, if I'm going to give any advice into any particular field or craftsmanship or skill, I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the 100 because that's the information that's going to allow you to really, progress with your craft. And, if you're looking to be a DJ, we can give you direction on, what you want to start with. Do you want to start with a controller? Do you want to start with actual turntables and get you rolling? But, this isn't something I don't ever want to encourage anybody to just roll out of bed and say, I want to be a guitar player. There's a lot of things that go into it, a lot of things to think about because you have to be passionate about it. You got to love it. And when you love it, you do the homework, you put the work in.
Sure.
We could definitely.
Amazing says a tip for someone who wants to be a DJ, try to get some experience with detecting BPMs.
Right. And see, in that world, you have softwares that, do all of that for you. So if you're thinking about DJ, I always say start with the fundamentals. You know, gather up some money, get a turntable, right? Then buy some vinyl, get a mixer. Then when he gets a little bit more money, grab another turntable. Then learn what it's like to actually handle real vinyl and how to actually tempo lock without using software. Because that's how you'll then by the time you get to the software, you'll even be that much better.
Yep.
But that's my advice for anyone who's looking to be a DJ. Linda says, how do I fulfill my career in acting?
That kind of goes along with what you just said. I think the main thing, in a very general way, as we wrap it up, is to say the best thing, if you ask a question in that particular way, is specifics and specificity. So to say, how do you fulfill your career in acting is so open-ended, right? What does that look like to you? So to identify, like, is it to be on Broadway? Is it to star in a movie? But you got to identify what that idea of fulfillment looks like, right?
Yeah.
I also should say, I don't like the idea of, I want to live a fulfilling life, but the idea of being fulfilled in my mind means that it's the end and that there's no growth.
Right.
But to answer for Linda, I would say identify that target, like what in your mind epitomizes success, and to map out a very clear plan of action as to how you can get there. But I would also, if you want to send more specifics to us, I would love to answer it in more detail. But I will say, in the world of acting, just like in the world of music and anything creative, there is no one way to get there. Right. Everybody's got a different path.
Right.
So it looks like our last question is from Katz, and he says he wants to know, does the Connected School have good business classes? It's hard to be a good artist and run a business. I'm in between schools right now and looking for another school. And our team just answered, but yeah, we just finished our current curriculum, and it's gonna be great. How you like that?
Honestly, yeah. But yeah, Katz, and I can, we can get you, we can definitely get your questions in and anything you got in that area, that you want more information on. We can definitely
check out our newsletter too. Leah just popped it up into the feed if you don't see that. But it's rrfedu.com/weekly report.
Yeah. And also, too, folks, for those of you in our chat room that are talking to each other, make sure you guys get emails, all the information from each other. So that way, when our show stops, you guys can continue these conversations with each other. So I think that's extremely important. On that note, Chloe, unfortunately, girl, it's 12:03.
It's 12:03. We got a meeting. And it's the holidays.
Christmas time is here. But anyway.
And also, this year, shout out to whatever you're celebrating, because Hanukkah falls at the same time as Christmas this year. So, dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay.
Look,
I know it. I know the song.
You got so much culture. I love your culture. You got so much culture in you, Chloe.
Look, it's blue even. It's blue. It's blue and red.
Well, guys, man, thank you all for tuning in with us here today. Again, this is Monday Movement. Hey, Chloe, make sure you give them our new hashtag, because we want folks to really go on with this hashtag.
Baby, hashtag this is my classroom. Blow up that feed. We want to see photos of what your real life day-to-day learning experience looks like. Photos, text messages. We do text back or tweet back.
Also too, guys, definitely keep sending us in your music, your resume, your cover letter, sizzle reel, the whole nine, because we're definitely looking at it. Shout out to our wonderful team, Chloe, Mike, Howie, Brian, Jay, Michael, Leah. Am I leaving anybody out?
You got both of the mics. You got, I think that's everybody. You said Jay. Edwin.
Yeah. Man, I knew it. And again, thank you all for tuning us. Happy holidays to you guys, man. Get your Christmas music, get your Christmas spirit going. And it's time to go. It's time to grind. Tomorrow's Tuesday. A couple of days left before Christmas, so get it going, folks. We love you, man. Thank you so much. I'm your host, DJ Is, my lovely co-host, Miss Chloe.
I'm Chloe Wyatt Taylor.
And on that note, we out. Have a good one, y'all.